there was probably a first wave of commissioned history starting in the already perhaps in the 1980s, late 80s, but then especially in the 1990s, relating to business and industry. Big banks, big companies, the Allianz and Krupp and the Deutsche Bank and then later the Dresdner Bank. So that was the first wave where business, industry, banks commissioned works, academic research on their history, especially their history between 1933 and 1945. This is, of course, important. This is the focal point of this commissioned history, even in later contexts. And then, I mean, a second wave probably started with the Amt und die Vergangenheit, with the commission, with the task which Joschka Fischer, when still foreign minister in 2004, 2005, where he commissioned 4 or 5 historians to research and to write a history of the German Foreign Office between 33 and 45, and of course the dealing with this kind of with Nazi past after 1945 in terms of personal continuity, in terms of burdens of this past after 1945, and already this first commission sparked a number of follow-up commissions, the finance ministry, and then of course, or probably the publication of Das Amt 1 year ago approximately sparked and fueled not only an enormous debate and controversial debate about the book itself, but also about commissioned history, but it sparked above all a number of commissions looking at the history of the German secret services, looking now at the history of the Ministry of Justice and the federal judicial system from the Bundesanwaltschaft to the Bundesgerichtshof and the Bundeslandwirtschaftsministerium and so on and so forth. And we are not at the end of this process. We are working it probably down to the level of the federal states. We now have commissions on the level of the federal states. In Hessen, where I am, we're talking about having commissions on the history of the members of parliament in Hessen and in Lower Saxony and in North Rhine-Westphalia. So there's a new wave of historians, independent historians commissions, an interesting term, by the way, independent historians commissions. I mean, what does independence mean in this? Why do we have to stress their independence? It's an interesting question. I mean, are we not, as academic historians, independent in terms of setting up our agenda, asking our questions and developing our research and then writing our stories? But anyhow, we are obviously in a process of a new wave of commissioned history, always centering, always focusing on the Nazi past. In most cases, the results of these commissions referring to the history of these institutions during the Third Reich and dealing with this past after 1945, the results will not be very surprising.
Yeah, that's it.
They will not be very surprising. They will confirm and produce more sources, perhaps, but they will confirm what we already know, and what we have been knowing for many years, for many decades even. And that's the interesting thing, and that's probably what you were arguing. I mean, this is very conventional. This is not methodologically innovative. There are no new questions in terms of history as an academic science. So in terms of public history, these books and these reports, they still have their value in terms of perhaps changing, correcting public ideas and public views and public images. But in terms of history, academic history, they are not really innovative and surprising when it comes to their findings and their interpretations.
Yeah.